And see, also I'm a talk radio guy, man. I
Yeah.
grew up in the radio of Rush Limbaugh. I'm driving for a living in the era of Rush Limbaugh and G. Gordon Liddy and all the local guys. And I mean, I'll go ahead and say this on the record too. The local hosts on KLBJ AM in Austin all suck and always have. All of them since Raleigh James in 1996. Love her. Everybody since then. I mean, I don't know who listens to KLBJ AM at all, how they even stay in business at all. Their hosts suck.
The content of their awards or the actual raw skill of how they talk and what they talk.
All of it. And mostly how stupid and wrong and horrible they are about everything, but also just how like meaningless their drivel is, right? You'd be in the middle of the world's worst crisis and they're like, the liberals are trying to take God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. It's like, dude, I would prefer that you just shoot me in the face to listen to this, for the love of God, please. Yeah. But anyway, but I love the potential there. And in that era, before the internet was what it is today, this is the real town square where you can have a host who knows something, you can have a guest who knows something, and you can have callers who know a lot more than you think they would, dude. And I remember listening to them talk about like the Texas Homesteading Act that said you weren't allowed to take out a second mortgage on your house and whatever because it was to protect the little old ladies, and they were debating over whether they should have that law or not. And I remember thinking, wow, all these people know so much about this topic that I've never heard of before. And all of these callers are just so deep on their knowledge of what they know. And whether on that issue or so many other things. The first real time I heard real AM radio in Austin, I was 16. I might have been 18. No, I was 16. It was the same year that the Davidians were killed. I was driving my first car down 183. And I said, I've lived in Austin my whole life and I've never listened to the AM band. I wonder what it is. And the first thing I hit was KLBJ AM, and it was Johnny Walker, the great Johnny Walker, the FM rock and roll DJ, was sub-hosting. And his whole thing, he was a great guy, by the way. Rip Johnny Walker. But he goes, look, I don't know anything. I'm literally just hosting this show. The guest is this guy, a surviving Branch Davidian, and we're taking your calls. And this hit me like, what? There's even a Branch Davidian alive and they have a point of view and you can hear it and he's live right now and he's talking and people can call in and they can, what? Because in my world that I lived in, what you know about the Branch Davidians is what you read in the Austin American Statesman or what you're told by Ted Koppel and Dan Rather. And that's all you get. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Yeah. I can interact with one.
Yeah.
And then the callers are brilliant. The callers know they're not kooks. They know exactly what they're talking about. And they'll be like, I'll tell you what happened was on March the 19th, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. So this is why I'm like this. This is talk radio to me it's like if you believe in the idea of like any kind of like so-called popular government, like if we have to settle for any sort of statism at all, you want the people to be able to have one big ass conversation with each other, right? That's why your show is so important. Because you get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views and listens, maybe millions if you include all the podcasts. And so for a guy like me, it's like, it's a chance to talk to a whole bunch of people, to get a bunch of people having the same conversation together instead of everybody just all spread out having their own little separate arguments and not interacting with each other. So to me, that was the brilliance of talk radio. And then where Rush Limbaugh and G. Gordon Liddy were all polished and had their little programs, the guys on 550 AM in San Antonio, especially Carl Wigglesworth was my favorite, but him and all those guys, even Ricky Ware, who was the John Hagee-ite lunatic, but he was still such a sweet guy. And their talk radio, their version of talk radio was, all right, it's Carl Wigglesworth show, everybody. We're talking about Bill Clinton selling cocaine down there with Dan Lassiter in Mean, Arkansas. And we got Terry Reid on the phone. Tell us about your book, Compromise, Clinton, Bush, and the CIA, Terry. But everybody's kicking back.
Yeah.
Everybody's got this front porch attitude. And they got all the time in the world. We're here every day for 3 hours a day. Ain't no thing.